Don't have a whole lot tonight. Um, got some Bruce reading and Restored Republic. Did you get the Restored Republic reading?
Nope.
Don't have that. So
Oh, yeah, I did.
a couple other things, but we'll do the best we can. I do want to thank everybody for Wednesday night show. I came on a half an hour late because I had trouble, which I had trouble again today, but I didn't make it on in time today. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say the pledge and do the music while no one's on, and then we'll get back to the show. Who's on? Jeffrey, good to see you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start
We should have a
again.
random second right now.
Just my
And
children
nobody else.
and
But
my
no, he was
wife.
just jogging down the
I
first because he
thank
thought
my
the shortstop
lucky
was going to catch it. And when you
stars
don't catch it,
to
you
be
couldn't make it.
living here today, where the flag still
But I'm not
stands for
going to get down
freedom,
on that guy because
and
he
they
was one of
can't
that players
take
that
that
since he's
away.
come up, a couple days ago, he's getting on base.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today.
I'm sorry,
God bless the
great coaching, and why did I say one half one time before? Yeah, I know. I just can't do that. There's no one that anything
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I'd rather stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt God bless the USA.
No part of the ball was in. You could see what the difference with the ball here and with the line. I'll put you on that. We put Wild in the first inning because you got them calls. Yes, yes, yes. God bless the USA. And I want to welcome everybody who's on here tonight. Wednesday. Oh, no. We have a grandmother here tonight. Oh my goodness, and I can't get to Facebook to see who it was. I want to say is it Stephanie's? Somebody has a grandchild, and I want to wish them a happy birthday. I wished them a happy birthday on Facebook earlier today, but someone has a grandchild. I want to say it's Stephanie Strout's grandchild, but I don't know. I would think Stephanie's too young to have their youngest grandchild, which is 17 years old. So I don't know for sure. If someone can help me with that, Howie, happy birthday. Whose birthday? Jeffrey, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jeffrey. Happy birthday to you. There, Jeffrey, you can go tell people a crazy old man who can't sing a lick sing you happy birthday online. I'm trying to get my stuff pulled up here, guys. Anyway, for the kids, little Jimmy and Karate Kid, his brother Wyatt Earp, Boogie, Boogs, Boogaloo, and Boogaroo, our princess, our little queen, who I'm sure she's starting to practice softball now. But she's probably in some other stuff too, so she's quite a little girl. Or at her age, I guess we have to start calling her a young lady. Patriot, little Leona, and little Leilana. God, I got off track and forgot who to talk to about so far. Patriot 7. He was told by his baseball coach that they're going to play him either at shortstop, second base, or pitch. So he got my my lecture. If you try throwing any curveballs when you're pitching, I'll personally go out and take you out of the game. He's too young. He's too young. That's when I coached a lot of baseball. That's the theory I coached by, that you throw your fastball, you throw your changeup. Anything that you had to put pressure on that elbow, you didn't throw. One young man had a no-hitter going one night. And in the 7th inning, in the final inning, he had the worst 3 hitters maybe in the whole league up against him. He got 2 strikes. I mean, he throws 9 fastballs in the strike zone, and his no-hitter is his. He threw the first 2 in the strike zone, and the kid didn't stand a chance. He goes and he throws that next pitch, and he threw a curveball, and he almost hit the kid. Oh, I got mad. He comes back, he's smiling, he throws another curveball, and almost hit the kid again, and I went out, and I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm trying to get this game." And he goes, he looks at me, and he says, "You know, I got a no-hitter going, right?" So I'm aware of it, but you don't talk about it. Get the no-hitter, and then you talk about it. But I said, "You're not going to get the no-hitter if you throw one more curveball." He goes, "What?" I said, "You throw one more curveball, and I'm taking you out." After the game, I mean, I said it loud enough so the fans could hear it. The parents could hear it. They always wanted to know what I would talk to my kids about when I'd go out to talk to them, and I let them know. And her mom come up to me and her dad come up to me and said, "Thank you. He's too young." Now, I'm not saying I had any part of it, but this kid was on the mound his senior year of high school and got the victory when our school that we all went to, because once you're a Tiger, you're always a Tiger. And he was on the mound and got the win when they won state. And one of the first things he said to me when he seen me afterwards was, "Thank you. Thank you for letting my arm mature and get me away from throwing that stuff." So I told my grandson, I said, you gotta do what you gotta do, but you're not throwing any curveballs. And he said, "You can't take me out." I said, "Bet me. I'll walk out on that field and I'll pick you up and I'll carry you over my shoulder and I'll embarrass you in front of everybody." And my daughter looked at him and said, "Liam, he'll do it. He's going to look after you." So I was very impressed with him. Patriot super gymnast, my goodness gracious. She came home from school today, and this little girl's only 11 years old, and I told her, please slow down, you're growing too fast. And then she starts practicing her gymnastics in the living room. And as she's practicing, I looked at my daughter and I said, you was talking about not putting her back in this year because there's a overflow of on a Saturday, Addison has something, Patriot Little Monkey, compared to Ella. And I said, so what? I'll take Ella to her practices all the time. Not just Addison, but Liam's got some ball games. And I said, don't worry about it. On the days that it interferes that you can't get her, I'll take her. Well, she only wants to go if she can have this one coach that she's been with the 4 years she's been doing this. And the coach is also doing so they got her. But I noticed she's really getting good. And I take every chance I can to tell her because she is my little sweetheart. But Addison, the little monkey, can't be outdone. She has to go and do her thing. And for a 4-year-old, it will be 5 the 5th of next month, her golden birthday. Hi, Elaine. Hi, David. Hi, Margaret. Good to see you. Patriot. Small Hank, his birthday will be the 19th of this month. And then we have little Kira, who she is growing way too fast too. Thank you. I love the hat too. So it pretty much takes care of the kids. I forgot to mention Patriot 11. He hasn't been on. I'm kind of worried about him and his grandma because his grandma never used to miss a show, and I haven't heard from her now and since he went back to school last year, truthfully, at the beginning of the year. But, I'm sure they're busy and got things to do. And if Linda, if you're on, I will write you later. But I have. I have taken my medicine. I've got my 20,000 steps in, and I sat all afternoon with my feet elevated. But I will write you. Sharon, Becky, thank you. I'm looking at my list of people here, and these are the people that write me every day. Thank you for what you do every day, the emojis and the things you do. You wouldn't believe how your emoji picked me up today, Sharon, because we've concluded our kids section, but see, I run into a little problem. Last night I put my phone on charge because it was almost dead. Well, evidently one of the cats hit the wire and knocked it out, and I woke up this morning with a dead phone. So I got everything set up and I got it charging, and I got such a nice gift when I turned it on and got it charging. I had a message from the fraud department of my debit card. It said, Mr. Anderson, at 3 o'clock in the morning until 3:02, these 6 charges was made on your account. Did you make them? If yes, just hit the yes button. If no, please call us so we can talk. So I called him. I was on hold for 35 minutes. And I finally get someone on, and they asked me, they said, what's going on? I told them. And they said, well, did you make them purchases? I said, ma'am, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I was in bed sleeping and my phone was dead. So no, I did not. And they said, oh, well, we have blocked your account. We can turn it back on and hope they don't try to do some more. Or we can issue you a new card. I said, let's issue me a new card. And I said, but am I going to have to pay these charges? $221. And he said, well, we'll do the best that we can, but see, we don't have no actual proof. I said, well, let me ask you a question. They said, what's that? I said, 2 weeks ago, I went to Walmart. You know, Walmart, Wallmart, at one time was owned by the richest family in the world. And he said, yes. And I said, I spent $27 on my debit card for dog food and cat food, which I do every week pretty much. Maybe not that much, because the reason I had to that day is I had to get a big bag of cat food. I only have to do that about every 2 to 2.5 weeks. And he go, yes. I said, then I left there, and within 3 to 5, well, by the time I got done shopping, it was probably 10 minutes. I bought $42 of groceries at Aldi's, which is a very well-known other cheap store, which no stores are cheap now, but it's a cheaper store. And I said, I bought $42 and some cents. And I put my card in and it said declined. And I put my card in again, it said declined. I brushed my card off because sometimes that's what happens. You get a little dust on it and it won't work. It said decline. So they said, well, go ahead and run it this way. And it said decline. Luckily, I had cash because I don't carry a lot of cash with me. But I had a $50 bill on me that day. So I paid for my groceries. I said, I went over, and as I started to pack, I checked my email and it said, this is the fraudulent department for your debit card. Someone is trying to use your card. If these are good, so I called them up and I said, what are the charges? And they told me. I said, yeah, one to Walmart. I just used it there a little while ago. And then I came straight to Aldi's, and you refused to let me use it here. I said, now you can catch a place that actually gives you the name, because on the card it showed up. It was from Walmart and Aldi's. Do you think someone's going to steal my card and just go out and buy groceries? And if they do, only 60 some dollars? I got away pretty easy if that's the case. But I said, last night at 3 o'clock in the morning, when a 71-year-old man should be in bed sleeping, you let 6 charges go onto my card and didn't do anything until you finally decided to stop it. Now it's going to cost me $210 because the person you had working last night was probably taking a nap. Well, Mr. Anderson, we're really sorry about the way you feel. I said, the way I feel, you get paid to do one thing. When it comes up, the charge is internet. It doesn't say it's from Walmart. It doesn't say it's from Sam's Club. It doesn't say it's from, J.C. Penney's. It says internet. And 20 seconds later, another one comes on, almost the same price. In 2 minutes, they made 6 purchases, all internet purchases, and you let them go through before you finally decided to stop them. So I wasn't in too good of a mood this morning, but you know what? I got to go babysit the little monkey, and everything's going to be good. If I lose the $220, hey, I lose it. I can't do nothing about it. David Duffy, 71 backwards is 17. Yep. But frontwards it's 71. 7 plus 1 is 8. 7 times 1 is 7. 71. I'm not going to go there. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing, David, but I'm trying to have a little fun. So also there is I want to warn everybody, and I know a lot of the people who follow me on Facebook. I posted it and I don't remember the name of the company right now. But there is a place out there. Let me see if I can pull that up. Okay, the Cubbies lost today. No, I know what I need to do here. Bear with me a minute. There's a company out there, and it's I don't know. I'm just having a hard time finding it. I don't know. I can't find the name of it, but I will. If you need it, email me and I'll tell you the name. But there's a company out there that they're saying that they're giving away money. All you have to do is apply for it. Now, if you want $100,000, you can get it. 150, 200, 250. You can get all the way up to $1 million. $1 million, you got to come up with $20,000 before they'll deliver it. 100,000, you got to have $1,000. And what they're doing, they're running the scam, guys. And how they're doing it, they're having people come on Facebook and request to be friends with you. One of the people they had come on and ask me was a young girl. Well, I say young because she's 2 years younger than me. Her name is Sharon Brown. And she requested me to be friends. And I'm thinking, I'm already friends with her. Now, Sharon Brown is a 69-year-old girl that when she was 5 years old, she lived in my house with my parents and like that being said, she told me that she got $150,000. Like I said, I've known Sharon Brown pretty much my whole life. She was a niece to my brother-in-law, Ray, who passed away a little over a year ago. And I mean, like I said, she grew up like a sister to me. I consider her a sister. And she told me, she says, I got 150. Well, then when I found out I had to give 1,000 for 100, I said, how about lending me 2,000 of that? I'll get 200,000. Or you can even lend me 5,000 and I'll get 500,000 and we can all have a lot of money. Because I'll take my first 150 was what you got, and then that other 850, me and you'll split. 400 a piece, and we'll give 50,000 a charity. And she says, well, I don't have that much money. I said, you've already spent. It was just a week ago you got it, and you've already spent $150,000. She said, yes. I said, you're not Sharon Brown that I know. She said, yes, I am. I said, really? What's my mom's name? What did you call her? And she says, will you tell me and I'll tell you if that's what it is. I said, like I said, you're not Sharon Brown. So I go back to the people and tell them I'm not interested. This is a scam. 2 days later, I get a message from Larry Ringy, a guy that I worked with for almost 30 years. And we've been out of work for 20 some years. So I've known him for over 50 years. And I'm a friend of his. And boy, he talked and talked and talked to me, but never once mentioned work. Whenever I would talk about work, whenever I would talk about other things that me and him knew about, he changed the subject. And all of a sudden he says, have you heard about this company? And I said, yes, I have. And he said, Ralph, you should check it out. So in the meantime, I went to Facebook to the real Larry Ringy, and I haven't received. Now here I'm supposed to be talking to him, but when I go to his Facebook page and I click on Messenger there, I get it, and me and him haven't even spoken online since February 4th, my birthday. Wish me a happy birthday. So if you get anything that they're telling you, you can get 100,000 free, 200, 300, 400, and you're going to pay this. And I said, well, tell you what, because they're going to send it to you within 7 hours. Deliver it to your house within 7 hours in cash. That way there's no taxes. I said, well, tell you what, I'll take the 500,000. And when you get here, I'll tell the people, hold on, let me go in my bedroom and get the money, the 50,000. I'll take the money in, I'll set it on my bed, I'll take 50,000 out, I'll give it to them, and I'll even give them a $10,000 bonus. Well, we can't do that. I said, well, how come it costs so much? If I want it, if it's mine, why do I have to pay? Because when you're sending something FedEx, something, I don't care if it's $150,000, it's going to be in a little bag about like that. Not going to be very big. The weight of it's not going to be that much. At the very most, if you send it 7-hour express, if they charge $50, $75, that would be high. But just be careful. I don't want anybody getting taken advantage of. Elon Musk, the future of health is here, and it's more powerful than ever. What if everything you know about health is about to change? Ionic Care is a game-changing device that unlocks your body's true potential using a rare frequency-powered crystal chip. No meds, no treatments, just pure natural power. The truth, this isn't magic, it's tech. And for as long as it's been hidden behind 100,000 paywall, but now it's available to everyone and is changing everything. This is a shift you can't ignore. Big Pharma doesn't want us to know the truth. Ionic Care is a game changer. They're trying to keep from us. It's teaching us to revolutionize your health. Once you unlock your body's true potential, you'll see you'll never need them again. Bombshell. The hat deploys military forces to replace hospital equipment with medical beds. The healthcare revolution is here. April 9, 2025, a new dawn begins. The special beds rollout, suppressed for years by Sleepy and his corrupt Big Pharma cronies, is finally unleashed. The hat is destroying the medical industry complex that profited by keeping you sick and enslaved. The chaos Sleepy left under Sleepy's hospital collapse, supplies vanished, and billions of dollars poured into the pockets of the elites. Big Pharma poisoned millions with endless toxic pills and vaccines, while Biden's cronies hoarded vital technology for themselves. The Hat's war on medical tyranny. The Hat's military is seizing medical beds from deep state bunkers, abandoned Walmarts, and secret labs. Sleepy's allies hid these miraculous devices, using them for the elites while the population suffered. Now the Hat is using special beds to cure cancer, reverse aging, and regenerate limbs without drugs or surgery. Secret raids and elite arrests, special forces are raiding black sites, seizing stolen medical beds, excuse me, and arresting corrupt hospital administrators, pharmaceutical bosses, and deep state agents. They are being taken to unknown locations, no escape or return. Fighting Big Pharma's lies, Big Pharma is panicking and flooding the media with propaganda to discredit special beds. They know it. Special beds means the end of their $1 trillion disease industry. The global revolution is already here. The hat is boosting medical beds around the world, bringing down corrupt pharmaceutical monopolies and dismantling globalist strongholds, allies abroad, and freeing themselves from the tyranny of big pharma. This is a global awakening. A further freedom and healing medical beds are more than technology. They are liberation powered by quantum energy, spiritual aligned, and ready to heal body, mind, and soul. The hat's vision is unstoppable. The golden age of healing has begun. The medical bed revolution is here. Now, people have asked me, do you really believe they're real? Yes, I do. I believe they're so real, so much, that I would rather have them come out before I go to the Redemption Center. I would rather have them come out before I get this money that we're supposed to get sometime this month. You know, we was reported the other day on the show that I had just read that anyone over 21 will be getting $100,000 a month. Now, this is hearsay, but I did read it. $100,000 a month for 12 years. And it comes to $13.2 million. So for everyone who's confident that we're going to the 13-month year, if you do your math and they're coming out and saying we're going to get it for 11 years, that's $13.2 million. Now, if we're going to go to the 13 months, 11 years, that's going to be another $1.1 million. But my thing, I've been thinking about that. And instead of getting $100,000 a month, I thought, wow, why don't they give us $100,000, $100,000, $100,000? First 3 months. Then they can go and give us $25,000 a month for the next 9 months. That comes to $525,000 for the year. Is there anybody in here? Randy, Golden Arrow, Mike. You're the ones I can see up there. Can any of you live comfortably on $525,000 a month, a year? But see, I say do it that way because then you could actually go doing it that way. You could actually go almost 25 years instead of 11. Now, for people who's gonna go the other way, and you got to take a situation here. One Voice and Foosper and Golden Arrow. I don't know your marital situation. If you're married, you're going to get double that. So you're going to get first 3 months. You and your spouse are each going to get $100,000. So that's $600,000, and then you're going to turn around and get together $50,000 for the next 9 months, which is $450,000 more. And I think we could all live like that. It's just my opinion, guys, because I like running numbers. I like talking like that. But the thing I wanted to hear, the hat says, be cool. Everything is going to work out well. The USA is bigger and better than before. I met an old classmate. This was a guy that he was a senior with me. We played baseball together. We went to state together. And anyway, I met him in Walmart yesterday. And we got talking. I had my Make America Great hat on. He said, I don't really believe in him. I said, why? He said, well, look what he's doing with these tariffs. I said, yeah, he's bringing all the countries to their knees. He goes, what do you mean? I said, my goodness, Tommy. I said, since he gave his speech on Liberation Day, he goes, on what day? I said, eyes closed. He goes, what do you mean? I said, the day he gave the speech, if you listened, he told you it was Liberation Day. It was the day that America was taking back their freedom. That we weren't going to live under the hecticness of Big Pharma. We weren't going to live under, and I started to talk to him. He said, well, I didn't know that. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. In all the years we've known each other, 60 years, have I ever lied to you? And he goes, not that I know of. And I says, you listen, where do you listen to your news? And he says, regular channels, ABC, NBC, Fox. I said, oh, mainstream media news. I said, oh, that's only a group of people that they haven't told the truth in so long, they don't know how to. Now, I did receive something the other day that said, wow, look what just showed up. Look what just showed up on one of the main channels. And it was actually something to deal with what I'm saying. So we talked for, I would say, probably, okay, can't do that. We talked for probably about 15 minutes, and he left and he says, the reason he had to leave is because his wife got done talking to the person she was talking to, and it's time to go. And I said, just hold on a little bit. We're right in the middle of a conversation. Go get what you got to get, and he'll meet you at the checkout. Tom, if you want the pizza that you want, you better go pick it out yourself, because I'll get. So, man, he run because I guess he don't like the pizza that she likes. And as he was leaving, I said, that's what makes me happy that I'm divorced. Because I go get my own pizza. I don't have to worry about her telling me after I've worked all them years what pizza I can have. This is something from Peter Schiff. As I warned earlier, the Treasury market is crashing. The yield on the 10-year just hit 4.5%, and the yield on the 30-year hit 5% without an emergency rate cut tomorrow morning, and the announcement of the massive QE program tomorrow could be a 1987 style stock market crash. Now, I haven't checked the stock market in two days. I don't know. I don't understand it. I get so many people coming on and doing this and doing that. And I did hear today, trying to think who said it, but they literally said that cryptocurrency is dead. They just haven't been told yet. Now, I also saw where Bitcoin went from 1,000 and what was it? 113,000 to where it just went below 80 a day or so ago. I don't really follow it, guys, so if I'm getting the numbers wrong, I know it really dropped, and we've been told for a long time that Bitcoin was going to go down and it wasn't a good crypto, and that the place to be if you're going to do that is XRP, XLM, and there's one other one. I don't remember the name, but if you guys are watching, XRP is dropping like crazy. It is just falling off the market. It's, I don't even remember what it is. I haven't checked today, but I know it's not way down. I know our total earnings went from over almost $5,000 to we got a little over 2,000 now. But see, every time I look at it and I get a little disappointed, Ron looks at me and says, "It's okay. It's okay." And Ron's not the kind that's usually really calm, cool, and collective. You know, we can't do nothing about it, so it really doesn't do any good to worry. But then, you know, I got a note today from one of our followers, Cindy. And Cindy says to me, she said, "Ralph, I bought some more XRP today. I bought some more XRP today." And as soon as I do a couple more things, if it goes down and stays down like it is now, maybe even go a little lower, I'm going to get it, because when it goes up, oh, it's 227 now? Okay. So anyway, guys, we're going to wake up one morning, and for anybody who did not, and I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you, if you got a few extra bucks, you should have got some. Because I truthfully believe this one will hit eventually $100,000. Now they're downplaying it. And they're saying, well, it could hit 1,000, it could hit 1,500. Now, when every country going to start using this as exchanges, it's going to go to the moon and back. Or, as Elon likes to say, let's go to Mars and back. Because we've tried to do the trip to the moon, and it just didn't work out. So, today, the 9th, is a happy day for me. It's kind of like Independence Day. I'm not married no more. This isn't the day I got divorced. It actually is 42 years ago. I got married on this day. And you know, you should have known your marriage was doomed when you walk out your mom's front door and she follows you just talking to you. And she looked at me and says, why have you got tears in your eyes? I said, Mom, I don't think I love her. I don't think I'm really wanting to get married. And when I just walked out that door, I'll never walk out that door again, that I live here. And I hated the fact that I wasn't going to be living there. It really bothered me. If you guys can relate to that. Yes, 10 to 12 days of darkness. And when they say darkness, guys, it's not like they're going to shut the lights out. It's just their way of doing things, you know. But everything is what it is. It's meant for a reason. And I'm going to tell one quick story, and then I'm going to go into Judy, and then I'm going to get you out of here, guys. But my grandson, my grandkids, have never spent, from my daughter, have never spent a night at my house. Because I have cats. And Patriot5&Patriot6 is allergic to cats. And I mean, really bad. I mean, this isn't just a myth. He's really allergic. So I looked at him, I said, you know what? We got it set up. We got to get you on that bed. And then I talking to my daughter, and I said, when I get the call to go to the Redemption Center, I got to know, do you want to get on the beds? You want Liam on him? And I know they want Liam. And I said, do you want to get on him? She said, well, what's wrong with me? I said, well, you're always the one that's fighting with yourself, getting mad at yourself, saying you want to lose some weight. The beds will help you. Now, I'm not going to say you need to, because I think you're fine the way you are. But we'll also fix anything that's ever been wrong with you, and it will fix your DNA. And I started to explain to her. And she says, well, you know, I want to see how it works first. I want to see a few people and how they do. And I said, well, I'll be first in line in the family. And Ron will be second in line in the family. And when you see us lose weight, when you see me with a full head of hair, when you see me maybe back to my original height instead of getting old and starting to crinkle up and losing an inch and a half. You know, losing height when you get older. I always thought that was a myth. I really did. And I used to work with a gentleman, a black man. His name was Larry Hill. He was my best friend other than my two brothers up at the plant. And working with him, he looked at me once and he said, you know, the older you get, or if you get cancer, you start shrinking and losing height. And I said, nah. And he said, well, let me show you a picture. He showed me a picture of his cousin that before he got cancer, and he got it really bad. But he lingered and lingered for almost 2 years. He was 6'4" and almost 300 pounds. 2 years later, when he died, he was 5'9" and just a little over 120 pounds. And see, I told that story for two reasons. One, because I thought it was a fascinating story. But two, I told it because I don't know. I don't remember. I just got a brain fart. I really did. And I said the word fart, so I have to make my statement that this video is not made for children. You can watch it under the discretion of your parents, your grandparents, or your legal guardians. And the music that we played tonight is for entertainment purposes only. We have no legal rights to it. But I really did. I literally lost my train of thought. I apologize. I know I was talking about the gentleman who lost all that, the height and everything, but I think that's what it was. And then I was talking about, my daughter with, supposedly it's going to regrow hair. It's going to help me lose weight. You can actually get a little taller. And I think that's what I was talking about. What are these numbers 1312? So anyway, I'm going to be very polite here. And if there's bots on here, and go someplace else. There's other people having shows. Go bother them. They don't care. But we're a family here. If you come on here, what was your question, Willie? If he was asking me, I didn't see it. So if he was asking me, ask it again. Then you're in the wrong show, Bumbaloo. If you love Kamala, you're in the wrong show. But opinions are like rear ends. You have yours, we have ours. No, I shower the same amount. I shower every day. Either that or I have one of these 100-year-old cast iron bathtubs, real deep, and I like to go up and take a nice hot bath. So I either shower. The not having hair has nothing to do with your shower. You still want to be clean. It's a lot easier to get the top of your head clean than it is if you have a full head of hair. But I'll take that problem any day. Mine's very smooth. You want to feel it? Smooth as a baby's butt. Oh. Do you bathe? Top Savage. Top Savage hasn't took a shower in 3 years. Hey, that's okay, because I got a cousin. He hasn't either, but I don't think he's took a bath either. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see what Judy's got to say. This was compiled by Judy Byington, April 9th, 2025. But before I go into Judy, I do have one story I got to cover. And this is a story that's happening in America today. The other day, and I know you guys, there's not one person here that probably hasn't. Well, thank you. Everybody's heard this story. There was an event happened the other day. And a gentleman took a knife, a young kid, took a knife to it. And he went over to the opposing team's side. And they asked him to please leave. He wasn't welcome over there. To please leave. They was making their strategies. And two brothers went and sat down in the stands. Twin brothers. As this guy walked up, took his knife that he took to a high school sport event and stabbed one kid right in the heart, killing him instantly in his twin brother's arms. The good people in the United States of America have taken up a GoFundMe account for the family that lost their child, to help with expenses, and just to show that we do live in a good country still. But other people have taken up a GoFundMe account for this young man who stabbed this young kid in the heart. And now they're saying this young man that did the stabbing will never get a fair trial because he's black. And the other boy was white. What the hell does it have to do with color? He stabbed this young man. He took a knife to this event with the purpose, probably, to ending a child's life. And I feel sorry for the kid who did it because he's not going to have a life. He will spend the rest of his life in prison. But I feel a lot more sorrier for the young man who lost his life because it's wrong. Why until Obi, that president that we had, why until he come in, we really didn't have much racism in our country? And then it went like wildflowers. Does he feel proud of himself for what he did to our world, to our country? Because I sure don't. And I knew long before he got elected that he was what he was, because I know what he did to my son and showed just how big of a racist he was. My son was never raised that a color of his skin mattered. He was never raised that where you live, where you came from, mattered. And that's how we should all live. And I feel for the family of the young man who did the stabbing because they're going to lose their son. But to say because of racism, he'll never get a fair trial. What is a fair trial? He walked up to the young man, and stabbed him. He stabbed him in the heart, ending this young man's life. Because them two guys, them two boys, and some others on that team asked him to please go back to the other side. This was their side. They didn't want him over there, and he got upset. And I heard some women talking. Women who was in support of the kid who did the stabbing. And they said, it's a free country. We can go where we want. But when you're a high school kid and you take a knife to a sports event, that don't open up your eyes, and it did not. And that's why our president now has a big job ahead of him. A big job. Okay, where are we now with Judy? My fellow Americans, what you are about to go through will be very painful. Q17. JP Morgan predicts huge U.S. stock market crash. Bank runs imminent. Emergency broadcast system to activate worldwide. Gitmo TV on Telegram. Trust the plan. Stay vigilant. Be prepared. Judy note on Tuesday, 8 April 2025, it was announced that President the Hat has given the green light for the EBS messages to be sent over phones, TVs, radios, and the globe, saying that in the next 5 hours or so, everyone needed to be home for a global lockdown that would last 10 to 12 days. That's where you got the 10 to 12 days, huh, Mike? Because I had never seen the 12 days. At the end of the 12 days, which appeared slated to end on Easter, they will be given out an 800 number for individuals to call to obtain appointments to set up individual quantum money accounts. Those EBS messages will include announcement of the big end, monies will be going back to the people, and then to wake up the masses, documentaries will be shown present events such as those described herein. In the past 24 hours, we've launched a massive operation to eradicate Chinese Communist Party CCP infiltration on America's soil. That comes from FBI Director Kash Patel. DOGE audit investigations have verified the illegal immigrants have been draining Social Security, plus involved in massive voter fraud, and that trillions of U.S. taxpayer monies were being laundered through fake organizations and then back into politicians' pockets. Israel military insiders have confirmed that a joint U.S.-Israel strike on Iran's nuclear infrastructure was imminent. What we think we know as of Wednesday, April 9th, 2025, the HAT/Must DOGE audit investigations were holding corrupt institutions accountable. Oil prices are down, interest rates are down, the slow-moving Fed should cut rates, food prices are down, there is no inflation, and the long-time abused USA bringing in billions of dollars a week from abusing countries on tariffs that are already in place that come from POTUS. Right now, across France, Germany, Sweden, the UK, and even historical neutral countries like Netherlands and Belgium, there is a daily violence, but the government controlled media stays silent. How is all of this stuff happening and you never hear anything? But see, I got talking to myself earlier today. And this is before I read this because I'm just now reading this for the first time. But I got talking to myself and I said, let's go back to when the hat was campaigning. Every time $6.99, they're still, cheapest I've seen them here is $5.99, but Burkhart's starting tomorrow is running a 4-day sale that we're going to be able to get them for $3.99 for 4 days. So in essence, what they're doing is they're going to make sure that the kids get to color Easter eggs, because moms and dads will go pay $3.99. $3.99 I still think is too high, but it is what it is. But it just, the HATS administration is slashing the IRS workforce by at least 25%. A lot of this is about Doge that we've already covered. And since we're getting into the show quite a bit, let's see what Bruce had to say last night. April 8th, Bruce, 2,500 to 50 billion each tranches came through to the banks. They got that kind of money. The QFS still running in parallel SWIFT transfers until the USN is announced. The DOGE payments from $200 trillion in savings by audits were supposed to start direct deposits in the third week of April and done by Easter Sunday. R&R payments will be in your quantum account at exchange. The new dong rate was just under $11 on Friday. The farm claims have been paid. Now, I did hear a farmer talk and thanking our president. And he said, thank you for what you're doing with the tariffs. These wasn't actually farmers, they were cattle farmers. And they said, it's time we start sending our beef to other countries and putting our beef in other countries, which is really going to bring money into the cattle farmers. So I was really impressed with that. Other than that, but will there really be cattle farmers for much longer? Think about it. The green light to pay out will start overnight tonight. Bruce says that in every show. And that's pretty much, it's pretty much it. Bruce also announced that he expects to have a small celebration party tomorrow night. But he said that for 3 weeks too. And I'm not cutting Bruce down because Bruce is who he is and he's not going to change. He does the best he can do with what he has to work with. And I'm not going to go into his two partners because I think it's ludicrous, but that's opinion.
Sue's packages.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into Sue's packages or Bob's bowel movements. I'm just not going to do it. But with that, everyone, thank you for coming tonight. We'll be back Friday night.
Unless we get that EBS.
Unless we get the EBS. I do advise that if you have a little extra money, go get a little extra food. Have something shared. I know they say the military will be there if people need it, but be prepared, because I really do believe our journey is really, really dwindling down. Will it happen tomorrow? Will it happen Friday? I don't know. If I knew, believe me, you'd be the first ones to know. But you're welcome, Tony. But we've went this long together. Let's stay positive and go further. Let's get our vibrations up. Let's be positive about everything and know that we're about ready to go. Dear Lord, as I finish tonight, please listen to the words I just talked to my people about. Get their vibrations up, help them, and let them know that this is almost a done deal. It probably is a done deal, Lord, but they just haven't announced it yet. But soon, we will be food for about what we want to eat. We don't have to worry about what we want to wear, because all we have to do is tell the replicator and it's there. And we thank you Lord, for taking us into a new era and having the faith in all of us here tonight, Lord, to have them be part of this. And even though some days it looks gloom, it's still sunshiny outside. And I talk to you and pray to you through my Savior, your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. Good night, everyone. Love yous all.